Bernabeu, what a beautiful stadium, and the 1982 tournament claimed to be one of the most successful ever staged. For the Spanish hosts, it's taken place in no less than 14 towns and cities, where they've been invaded by the fans of South America, Africa and Europe. But the flags of Italy and West Germany are dominant now. And after the superb play of Brazil, there's still a sense of surprise the talented men in yellow and blue from South America haven't made it. Instead, it's an all-European occasion, and with enthusiasm rising as the supporters arrive in their thousands from neighbouring countries. Jimmy Hill reports from the stadium.
Well, the news is that the German team is as expected. Rummenigge has said all day that he's going to play, and he does. But for the Italians, Bigoni replaces Antonioni. He can't play as a result of that 6 stitches in his foot. Now, today, Dr. Havelange openly criticised the ticket distribution for the World Cup. And it looks, judging by these scenes, which we saw and captured just before the kick-off tonight, that he was right in the point that he made. You can see these lads, there were 3 of them climbing up the side. They're already 40 feet in the air, and there's no doubt about whose side the crowd was on when he eventually made it. There's a happy man. His only problem is where he's going to sit. Well, it so happens that today is the 20th anniversary of the launching of Telstar, the first ever communications satellite. And its modern counterpart is enabling us to provide such high-quality pictures of the 1982 World Cup final. And it's this BBC Earth satellite station that beams the signal 23,000 miles heavenwards and down again to Goonhilly. And that dish, as it's commonly called, together with 3 Range Rovers, which carried the camera crews, covered the length and breadth of Spain to bring you BBC's own supplementary live pictures, and which yesterday enabled us to transmit Football Focus live from the breathtaking Real Madrid trophy room. Well, it may seem strange, really, for an ex-professional footballer to be talking about technical engineering of television, but I must confess I'm very excited by it, and I hope the match tonight is just as...
Well, there won't be many Italians in the fountains tonight, at least during the match. But now what we've seen, especially against the Brazilians, they're worthy favourites. And their supporters border on the fanatical. But it's worth remembering too, West Germany under Derval have never lost to a European team in 4 years. Tonight's World Cup final arena is custom built for football, for players and for spectators. And here, sampling the atmosphere at pitch level, is Bob Wilson.
Well, the atmosphere down here at the moment is quite remarkable. A few of the German substitutes are just leaving the field, clearing the pitch. But it really is quite remarkable. I've managed to have the experience of playing in a few finals, but never, ever experienced anything quite as noisy as this. To the right of me here, the tremendous Italian section, and to the far corner, the Germans. It really is very, very noisy, and I found one friend to my right here, and I'll go and meet him now, John Hollins of Arsenal. John, how long have you been out here?
Just over a week now, Bob.
For the semi-finals?
To the semi-finals, what was possibly, I think, the best game of the tournament so far. Everything, and 15 goals to go with it.
What about this atmosphere here now?
I'm just taking it all in at the moment, Bob. I wish I was out there playing it. I've got the nerves and all these behind me. You can guess who I want to win.
You'd obviously like to be out there yourself.
I'd love to be out there. I've never been to this stadium before, and it's just a day in a lifetime.
And who are you going to tip for the winner?
I've got to take Italy, Bob. I'm learning Italian very quickly.
Well, that's the atmosphere down here at pitch level. It's very, very noisy. I'm not quite sure whether you're hearing me at home. The Italians are all in very great heart, and we're all looking forward very much to a remarkable final.
So you're right. So now to our 4 guests tonight, 4 of the most distinguished figures in football in this country. There's Bobby Charlton, England's favourite footballer, who's played or been involved in the last 7 World Cup finals. And there's Lawrie McMenemy of Southampton, one of our most popular managers, who's so often been mentioned, of course, for the England job. And there's Bobby Robson, who's been mentioned even more often and is now the new England manager, and Jimmy Hill, who's had such a major influence on football as a player, manager, director and broadcaster. But we'll start with Bobby Charlton here in the studio. Now, Bobby, as a striker yourself, enjoying seeing strikers play, we've got Rummenigge back after injury and so important to West Germany, and we've got Rossi back after suspension. He's had prison problems over bribery, but back scoring goals. They both joint lead goal scorers at 5 goals each, and both could have a major influence.
Yeah, well, they will have a major influence simply because of that they're tremendous strikers. Karl-Heinz Rummenigge, when he came on in the semi-final against France, before he even touched the ball, you could sense the influence that he had on the rest of the players. Suddenly, they all felt as though there was strength in the team, which had been missing before, and he just kept picking up balls, going at players, and the rest of them just followed suit. Now, Paolo Rossi, when they started the competition early on in Gijon, were struggling badly and needed someone just to light the spark. And his goals against Brazil really were what it was all about. And yeah, they are the two major influences. And the winner tonight will probably be in the winning side. I was quite sure of that.
Bobby Robson, Bob, do you feel that the fact that they've chosen a defender, Bergomi, to take the place of Antonioni, a midfield player, is significant in the Italian lineup? Bobby Robson. Did you hear that, Bob?
Sorry, I didn't hear that, no.
You said,
well, we'll try again then.
I can't hear a thing.
I know you've got a hell of a noise behind you. Can you hear me at all?
was picked as a defender for midfield.
Well, I think that's a question of injury, David. I mean, I don't think for one moment that the Italian manager has selected that particular player for today. Other than that, I mean, he obviously wanted to play Antonagoni, or whatever his name is, because he's the one, I think, who can stimulate a bit of their forward play, which obviously has put Italian football in the final. Because
Bobby, perhaps Jimmy can you hear me now, OK?
I can hear you now,
yeah,
yes.
Good. The team news is actually Antonio doesn't play.
That's
Antonioni
right.
doesn't play.
That's
and
right,
he's chosen the man who's been taking the place of Gentili in defence, Bergomi, to take his place, which suggests he's going to play in a defensive manner.
Well, I mean, this is the one thought in my mind, David. I mean, having played so well to get here in the first place, I was wondering whether the Italians would, in fact, lose their nerve a little bit and change their style. I mean, they get to certain situations, don't they, at this sort of level, when then, you know, they feel as though they've got to go back to their defensive football, you know, which they're so familiar at. It'll be a shame. I just hope that the Italians don't lose their nerve in this marvellous situation which is presented here today, and that they play today and make it the match that everybody's hoping to.
Of course, they've got the footballing ability, haven't they? Now, Jimmy Hill, it does seem significant, Jim, that this change has been made. I mean, we know Antonioni can't play, he's not fit, he's got several stitches in the instep, but it is a defensive move.
Yes, it is, but they never really have attacked with all that many players. I mean, their strength has been that they've been able to create attacks with Rossi, Graziani, who is playing incidentally, despite the fact that he was carried off on a stretcher, very severely wounded, of course, the other day, and Conti. They don't very often push many more men up than that, and as soon as they do, they get them back very quickly. So I don't think it will stop the kind of raids that the Italians have been doing, but it does suggest that they don't intend to give any goals away to the Germans either.
Thanks, Jim. Well, we want to release you two to go down to the commentary box, but I'd like a quick line from both of you. Bobby Robson first, Italy or West Germany, Bobby?
No, I've seen a lot of West Germany. I've followed them throughout the tournament. I'm going to stick with them. I like their durability, and that's the team for me.
Jimmy?
Well, I'm going with Italy because they've had 3 marvellous results. They've beaten Argentina, they've beaten Brazil, and they've beaten the Poles, who beat the French. So why should we begin to doubt them now?
So that's 1 for West Germany, 1 for Italy.